Hi there, welcome to week 6 of the First Year Principal Book Club video series. So my name is Daphne Walbridge and I am the author of The First Year Principal, 52 Practical Lessons to Help New Principals Thrive as Conscious Leaders. And this week, the final week, we are talking about wellness and maintenance and how as a principal you can put the systems and structures in place to make sure you're thriving from day one and to keep yourself energized and fulfilled and strong throughout this journey. Because as you know, being a principal or a school leader, an administrator, and a school administrator or an educational leader, it's like running a marathon. And I often talk about this. I talk about it in the book. You need to find ways to keep yourself going, to offer yourself some momentum, but also build in some breaks and some moments to regenerate and to learn and grow. And these things need to be planned out. You can't just leave them up to chance and pray that you'll be able to, fit in some time to read a book or rest or take some time for yourself. So today I want to talk about a few concepts that will help you create a maintenance plan and a professional development plan as well. So the first, of course, I'm going to start off with is the morning power hour. If you've been following my work over the past few years, you know that I am a huge fan of the morning power hour. And I talk about this in the chapter 3, I believe. Yep, chapter 3, lesson 3. It's one of the first lessons because I find it is critical. Having a morning power hour is like paying yourself first when you get your paycheck. You know how they say give yourself 10% to set aside for a rainy day or for future, for your retirement or whatnot. Well, having a morning power hour is the same thing. It's like setting the first few hours of the day for yourself to either meditate, to journal, to exercise, to connect with your loved ones, to work on a project, a course, read a book. It's your time to grow, to fill any needs you have, to develop. And it has become, in this home anyway, in my home, it's become sacred. And over the years, I've changed my routine. It depends on, which priorities I have in my life at the moment. But they always involve exercise, they involve connection, they involve spiritual work and learning in some way or another. And I highly recommend you do so as well. And you'll notice in lesson 3, there are some take actions, and I give you some really important tips and tricks to make sure you can set yourself up for success. So anyway, I invite you to read those, but there's also other great lessons that you can, other great tools in here that you can access, and other great books. So it really has made a huge difference. And often I'm asked when I'm asked to speak in certain, for certain functions about the morning power hour, about leadership. People will ask me, well, how do you balance your life? How do you're a superintendent, you're a mom, you're an author, you have this online platform, you're coaching. So how do you do all of this? You're taking courses. How do you do it? Well, it helps to have a morning power hour, because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to center my day, to start off on the right foot, and to pay myself first. So that's the trick, and that's how you can find balance and how you can find time to work on what's most important. And I first really discovered this through Robin Sharma. Robin Sharma is a Canadian self-help coach. He's in that world, and he wrote The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. And it's really through his work that I started this. And my husband's been on the same path as I, and it's really worked well. So it's very important as a school leader to find time in the morning. And if you're not a morning person, then you can do it at night when everyone's in bed. But research has shown that when you're rested, when you're just waking up and you've had a good night's sleep, that your mind is rested and can absorb and accommodate more meaningful information. So that's the first aspect of maintenance. The next aspect I want to talk about is the inner work it takes to be a school leader, a principal, an educational leader. A lot of inner work, a lot of reflection, a lot of listening and absorbing information and observing. Often we want to jump in with a solution, we want to jump in and fix everything. But the more you go up, the more you need to take a step back, observe and analyze and go inward. And that's not always easy because when you're put in a situation where you want to be the savior and help everyone, well, number one, you're not giving them, you're not giving your colleagues, your teachers, your subordinates, you're not tooling them up and sharing leadership so they can develop. And you are doing a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of energy being spent on certain, possibly, trivial issues that they can also help themselves and they can also solve for themselves. So it's very important to, as a principal, to go inward. A journaling practice is often very good to see, how am I, just to ask yourself these questions. Am I doing too much for people? Am I sharing the leadership? Am I allowing people to develop the skills, or am I going in there all the time trying to save everyone? So just even taking a pause. One strategy I started doing was, I'm going to wait 12 to 24 hours to see if this situation resolves itself. And then I'll see if I can help. And oftentimes, I'll say 75% of the time, people find their own solutions. And I've just saved myself a lot of energy. The other thing you want to look for is the co-creation aspect. So co-creation, as you know, is you are always kind of involved in anything that's happening in your school. So if a teacher is not performing up to par, you have a role in that, right? Your role as a principal is to monitor quality instruction, to coach, to guide, to offer resources, to be present. So always having that lens of the co-creative aspect, and have the reflex, when something is not going well or not aligning, again, to reflect, not to react, to reflect and to look at your role, our role through a co-creative lens, and see how things can be addressed. That also will help you be a more effective, compassionate leader. So this again is for maintenance and growth throughout your career. Lastly, this is one of my favorite parts, is really developing your personal, professional learning plan. And I often tell new principals, if you don't have a learning plan or a growth plan, which aligns with wellness and maintenance as a school leader, you're going to have a hard time, because reading books and research papers and taking courses, not only in education, and actually I encourage people to take, different types of courses. It can be communication courses or public speaking, marketing, negotiation, mediation, anything. Something that's not necessarily aligned with education, but that can easily be embedded in your world is great, because it'll keep your mind sharp, it'll keep your lens wide, and it will help you be a much more effective leader. Think of it this way. Would you go to a surgeon who has just, who has been out of medical school for 20 years, but has never worked on himself or herself, who has never taken who has never read a book on new or studies, or who has never taken professional development courses? I don't think so. So as a principal, it's really important that you stay up to date with the latest trends in quality instructional practices, to adopt an innovative lens, read books on innovation, on teaming. It's very, very important, because it'll keep your leadership fresh, crisp. It'll create a momentum and an energy within your school, and it'll keep you sharp. And I think that's what we want. We want to be that as school leaders. So it's very important. I recommend certain works. I love the works of Patrick Lencioni, who is he's the author of several books. the motive, 5 dysfunctions of a team. I cite him a lot in my work. I think he's a great author, and he shares stories through fables and has great insights in leadership. I've recently completed a certification in school management and leadership, the CSML from Harvard University. It's a fantastic 4-module program. I recommend every principal takes this program. It's fantastic. Enovo, not Enovo, it's IDEO. IDEO has great courses on innovation as well and design thinking. So thinking outside the box, taking courses, having a program that you create for yourself to keep developing is incredibly important. And of course, I have lots of classes in my platform at learnwithdaphne.thinkific.com. We have courses on interview prep, and we have the First Year Principal Tribe 4-month course that you can take, the First Year Principal Classroom. There's like over 160 videos and resources just in that. So there's something everywhere, anywhere for you. And it's just to draw out what your interests are, where you want to develop, and create your personal learning plan. And you should have one every year, series of books and courses and papers you'd like to read. And just to give you a little bit of a trick, little hack, I love listening to books, but sometimes they don't come in audio through an audio version. So what I've learned, and I'm going to show you a little trick here, is if you go, for example, on Kindle or iBooks, or even if it's a PDF, you can click on a book, and I have one here. And if you click, this is for Apple. I'm not sure how it would work for an Android, but I'm sure it's similar. So I'm going to click, and you see, speak screen.
There's nothing to read.
Okay, sorry. When you click speak screen, you're going to get this little arrow that comes up here. And then you see, then you press. Sorry.
Strategy isn't contributing.
There you go, and it reads. So if I turn the page, let's get a new page here. Speak screen.
To progress toward our goal, we are likely to devise a new strategy to get there. Importantly.
And there you go. So you can, any book, any document you have on your phone, you can just click on Siri and say speak screen, and automatically this is going to show up, and it's just going to keep reading. You don't have to highlight every page. So this has saved me so many hours of reading. There's also another app that I discovered. It's called Speechify. Speechify, SPEECHIFY, and it's an annual subscription. So if you go to your settings, you can pick the amount you want to pay. I paid $40 a year. Just check to make sure under your subscriptions, you can choose which level you want. So I chose the $40 level for a year, and this is great, Speechify. So it's this one here. It's like this little purpley squiggly one. And you can take a photo of a book, because if your book does not come in e-version, you take a photo of the page, and then it scans and it becomes an ebook. So I've gone through lots of books. Within 1 week, I read a huge book that was very dense, and I was able to get through a book by taking photos. I would take 1 chapter a day, listen to it, and you can pick the speed of the voice. It's really, really great if you want to consume content very quickly. To build your knowledge. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily listen to a novel like this because it's kind of dry, but if you need to get through a lot of content, so to master content, for example, instructional leadership, it's really, really great. So those are 2 great little hacks, and I use them regularly. I have no affiliation with any of these companies. I just found them, and I'm sharing them because they're great. They're really, really great. So that is all for this book club series. I invite you to check out lots of other free resources I have on this site. There are some PDF toolkits and cheat sheets you can download. There are, of course, the weekly vlogs you can access. And of course, make sure to check out the classroom, the first year principal classroom, and all the courses that are being offered. There will be more coming this year as well in both English and French for my Francophone community. So be well, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.